So this is just going to be an overview of our playlist so far and all the stuff you should know if you're going into a midterm exam. So the first thing we talked about is how to solve systems of linear equations. There are 3 different methods, the first being Gaussian elimination, Gauss-Jordan elimination, and then Cramer's rule. For the first 2, you need to have a solid understanding of your row operations, what you can and can't do with those. But for Cramer's rule, knowing the determinant becomes super important, like how to find it, how you use it in Cramer's rule, all that stuff. Now with the results obtained, you need to know what the solutions mean. So are there infinite amount of solutions there? Are there no solutions? Or is there one solution? Now hopefully you can recognize these. This one is Gaussian elimination. We have Gauss-Jordan elimination, part of Cramer's rule. And this could just be a question where you're asked to find K so that your matrix has infinite amount of solutions or no solutions at all. The next big thing is the determinant. There are 2 ways that we can compute it. The first is cofactor expansion that we can use for every single one. And then we also have Sar's rule. So that's good for a 3x3 matrix. And you should also be aware of the determinant properties. If you do not know what any of these mean, go back to one of the previous videos on the determinant. Hopefully it'll catch you up. Now these 2 are cofactor expansion. This is for a 2x2, this is for a 3x3. And Sar's rule is the one with all of the diagonal lines. Now once you have your matrices, what can you do with them? Those are our matrix operations. You need to know how you add them, how you subtract them, how you multiply them, and the big one is how to find the inverse. Now these 4 terms should be familiar as well. We have the matrix of minors, matrix of cofactors, the adjugate, and the determinant. So here is just a multiplication of an entire matrix. Now here we have matrix A, matrix B, we add them together. How do we do that? You need to know. And then we also have multiplications of 2 matrices themselves. For inverse, we need to know how to find it. This video isn't going over any of that, it's just reminding you of what you should know. We kind of started touching on vectors. You should know what a vector is. Your vector operations, so same thing as with matrices, your addition, subtracting, multiplying by a scalar, all that stuff. And then the norm and the dot product. So these 2 are just for vectors, finding the norm, so the length of a vector, and the dot product, so multiplying vectors together, and being able to use the norm and the dot product to find the angle between the 2 vectors. So this is the dot product, this is the vector, this is finding the norm, and then finding the angle. So the next video is going to be moving on to the second half of the playlist, going to orthogonality, and a whole bunch of new things.